Hi, Dr. Kelsey here. Congratulations on ordering your personalized wishing machine. The basic wishing machine that you've gotten from me is very similar to those that you would get anywhere, outside of the fact that I have enhanced it with certain components to personalize it to you. They're not visible. They're inside the machine. And of course, the addition of the Tesla coil, which I'm going to explain all this as we go along. So when you receive your package, you'll open it up, and you're going to first see on top of the package, you should see the instructions. And this is detailed instructions on the use of the wishing machine and detailed information about the Tesla coil itself, the purpose of it, and some caution that should be applied in using the coil along with the wishing machine. On your particular machine, the Tesla coil is not physically attached to it, but I'm going to show you in a few moments how we're going to work all this. Along with the booklet on the instruction manual, and I'm going to cover up this person's name and birthday, you'll receive a personalized booklet overview of your life path number and also your birthstone. A lot of fantastic information there, and the purpose of that is the more that you know about yourself, the better your intentions will come, the more effective your life will be. So you'll then find the wishing machine itself. You will find the coil. You'll find the power cord supply for the coil. There is no power supply plugged into the wishing machine itself. You'll find two cords with alligator clips on one end of those cords with 3.5 millimeter jacks. Now, I'm going to go over the basic usage of this, what all these components do, how to hook it up, how to use it in a very brief presentation here. Please read your manual for detailed information. The input plate, and this will be labeled, it'll be on the upper left-hand corner of your machine. The stick plate will be on the upper right-hand corner of your machine. You would find whatever your intention is, something to manifest that intention, something that would represent your intention. For demonstration purposes, let's just say that you are in need of money. Everybody needs money. You could get a bill, a coin, something to represent money. I would suggest a paper bill. Or you could actually, on a piece of paper, write out a number, amount of money. If you are saying, ooh, I need to figure out a way to get $500, you could write $500 on a piece of paper to represent or manifest your intention. If you are the recipient of the intention, you're not doing this for your mother or your sister or your husband or your wife, you're doing this for yourself, then you would want something to represent you. That would go along with, for instance, the money, whatever you are putting there to represent your intention. Both would go on this side, on the input side of this machine. Once you have placed it there, with one hand, you're going to turn this first knob as you're swiping your finger across the stick plate. At some point, your finger is going to kind of grab. You'll feel some friction. It's going to kind of stick. That's where you would stop. Whatever number that happened on is where you would stop. That one's adjusted to where it needs to be, the right frequency. Then you would go to the next, and you would do the same thing. And once the finger feels that first bit of friction, you would stop. You would go through all 5 knobs. Start with this one, go to this one, go to this one, go to this one, and then to this one. When you have all 5 knobs set accordingly, then you would move whatever represented you to the side of the stick plate, the output side. And then you're going to readjust these knobs. So all these go up, this one to 100. So if this stopped at 50, then 50 minus 100 is 50, that one would stay at 50. If it went to 60, you would say 100 minus 60 leaves 40, you would move it to 40. The same with all of these. If this was set and friction came in, the stick started with your finger and it stopped at 20, then it would be 100 minus 20 would be 80, so you would move this to 80. Being mindful that this is after you set them from the input side and you've moved whatever represented yourself to this side. You would go all through 5 of these. If this stopped at a 70, 100 minus 70 would be 30, then you would leave this at 30. Okay? You would do this with all 5 of these knobs. Now, before I go into the test recoil part, let's talk about these 2 wires. You will see on the bottom part of this coil 2 jacks, an input and an output. These jacks are a 3.5 millimeter jack, the same as your cell phone, headphone jack, and that sort. So let's say that you have something to represent your intention, but it is too big to put here. Then what you would want to do, if the object itself is not metal, you would find a metal disc, a metal something to put whatever represents your intention on, whether it be it could be a pot, a kettle. You would plug this into the input side and you would physically attach this to the metal container that you put your intention in. Okay? So that would become your input. Instead of putting your intention here, you're putting it to something that would hold it better. Okay? On the other side of the output, you could still put your picture or whatever here, but if you wanted to get more personal, if you will, you could plug this in and you could say, alright, I'm going to be sitting here meditating for a while. I want to make sure that my intention is really coming toward me. So while I'm sitting here, I'm going to attach this to myself. Now clearly you're not going to walk around all day with this, but for that period of time, to enhance, to make sure you're getting that, you can attach it to yourself. There's actually been some people that would have a ball cap on and would attach it to the bill of their ball cap. However you feel comfortable doing that. Okay? So that is what the input-output jacks do there. Now, let's step it up. We're going now to the test recoil. You'll note that on your model, the test recoil itself is in its separate little box. It's not physically attached to the wishing machine. You have your power cord. The power cord inserts into the back of the machine, like that. Now, as you've taken this out of the box, there is a single strand of copper wire that's coming out. Don't pull on it, don't tug on it, but make sure you have pulled it away and stretched it away so it's not touching the coil. You see that this one is free of any of this. It's up and out. That's the way you want that one strand. So be very careful with that. In the packing, it may have gotten pushed down inside the coil or pressed alongside the coil. Make sure you pull that one strand out very lightly, very small. It's like a thread, except it's copper wire, very thin, and you're going to leave that just like that, away from the coil, not in the inside, but totally up and out from the coil. And then we're going to plug in. Oops. We're going to plug in the coil. This is the only component of this machine that gets plugged in. Now, somewhere on your machine, you'll find attached on this box, you'll find attached a little light bulb. And on the machine itself, on the side of the input plate, you'll also see two light bulbs, or maybe at least one, put there. Okay? You will see that immediately, once I've turned it on, even though these bulbs are in no way connected to the coil itself, you'll see that they light up. So the purpose of these bulbs is to show that the coil is working as it should, that you have the coil. The purpose of the two bulbs here, or at least one, according to how I've done yours, is to show that it is working and it's close enough to your machine and the input plate. So where you have put this, you can see this lights up, like I said, and it may be faint because I have the sun in the background where I'm sitting. So these will be at least one bulb attached to, like, the corner here, will be just simply taped on there like though, and you'll see it light up. So like I said, those are simply to indicate that this is working and it's placed appropriately next to your wishing machine. And you'll see, I'm going to move that out of the way, you don't want to touch this while it's on. You do not want to touch the coil, and if you'll see with the light, I'm not sure, but you'll see this is a spark on the end of that wire. That is where it's sending this out, the energy out into the atmosphere, out into the universe. Don't touch any of these components. Again, this is the input plate, that's the stick plate, the output. You want to place your testament coil, as you can see right here. I'll make sure you can see that, at this corner by the input plate. Now, here's the way you're going to use this. You're not going to leave this on constantly. That's not the way we want to do this. You don't want to walk away and just leave this constantly running. You want to use this at a time when you're, say, going to sit back and you're going to meditate about your intention, about what it is that you wish for, whatever your desire is. So when you are near this machine and you are ready to say, I'm going to take a few minutes out of my day and I want to work alongside my machine, then you'll come and then you'll turn the coil on, and then you'll sit back and meditate and think about your intention. Very positive thoughts as you're doing this. Now, you can walk away and you can leave this on, the testament coil, for short periods of time. Don't leave it on all day. Don't leave this on and confined into closed spaces. Like I am here, you want it out in the open. This is an electronic open device here. This coil gets very hot. There is a spark at the end of this where it's sending this energy out. So don't use this like in a closet. Don't put it in a drawer or anything like that when you're using the coil along with the machine. Now, when you're gone for the day, and you know, up until I enhanced this machine to give some amplification to sending your intention out to the universe, people were using just this by itself. So during the day, when you're at work, when you're not sitting with it and you're not meditating with it, you're still getting the benefit of this after you set it up just the way that I spoke of earlier. This is for those particular times of day that you want to really focus on, and you want to boost it out. It's like, I don't think I'm getting the results fast enough. I compare it to nowadays, someone has some trauma, an operation coming up, something happening that's critical, they're going to apply for a new job, and they'll get on social media and they'll say, pray for me. Well, this is a very personal way of saying, help me in a positive way get the results I'm looking for. So that, my friends, is the basics of the wishing machine and what you're getting in your package. Read the instructions. That is what is very, very important. Enjoy this. My contact information is at the bottom of the instruction manual. Feel free to reach out to me. I talk to people on the phone all the time who have purchased the wishing machine, and I want the best of your intentions and hope that all your wishes come true. Keep it positive, my friends.
Hello everyone, this is Kelsey with Dr. Kelsey Wishmaking Machines. And I want to go over real briefly again unpacking of your wishing machine. And I did a earlier version of this video and they wasn't totally complete. There were a couple of things missing, and I want to go over that real quickly in this second video. Everything in the first video is 100% accurate. This is just a little addendum to that because I have taken it just the way you'll see it come out of the package. The first thing you should see at the top of your packaging, if you open the box correctly, will be your two manuals. Okay, instruction manual, detail manual, how to operate this and get the best out of it. And I also say watch my instruction videos as well. Inside the box from there should be a smaller box with the coil. We're going to talk about that for a second. The power supply for the coil, and then 3 cords. 2 of the cords have alligator clips just clipped on the end, therefore the input output jacks here. Another cord just goes from 3.5 millimeter jack to 3.5 millimeter jack. Be creative in your use of this. Okay, so this is what you're going to get in the box that you receive. I'm not going to go over the instructions on how to use this again, but the coil has a little wire. You couldn't see it in the other video. I don't know if you can see it in this video. A little wire. This is a coil. This wire is wrapped all the way around this coil to form the coil. This piece could be bent down inside of here from packing, or it could be pushed down here just from the packing. That doesn't damage it in any way, but you need to pull, before you operate and plug this in, you need to pull that coil up and out and away. This fine thread of copper wire needs to be pulled up and away from inside here, and also not touching any of this here. It needs to be freely up and out away from there. Okay? What needs to be facing you here would be this part that has the button here, the toggle switch. Okay? And what I want to go over here quickly is that we're going to take the power cord. You'll notice that there are 2 little miniature light bulbs. And what you will notice about these 2 miniature light bulbs is that they are not connected to anything. They are just secured on the side of here. They're here to make sure that when you set this, because it's not sitting on the machine, it's sitting next to the machine, that you have got it in the right place. Because if this coil lights up those 2 bulbs, that means it is correctly placed as it should be right here. So I'm going to demonstrate that real quick, and then I'm going to talk about this just for a moment, and that's going to update this with the other video. Should be pretty comprehensive. I'm going to update this again because there's been a few changes coming up in the new wishing machines because of well, I just have no choice because of the supplier that I'm getting some things from to build these. They quit selling, manufacturing certain parts. Okay, so I'm setting this aside. Here are your manuals. You'll notice that I've got the coil and I'm setting it right at that corner. If you can see that, I'm going to turn this button in the down position. Okay, and the first thing you're going to see is that light bulb is lit up there. Now, and this one's flashing over here. Alright? The energy from this coil is coming out kind of from the tip of this wire here. So you may have to, you don't want to touch it while it's on. But if either one of these bulbs lights up, then you're good to go. This one, and there's a red light on the front of this that you'll see. Okay, you'll see the red light on the front of it. Right here. Let's see. There we go. This will go in the up position, and that will show, you see both these bulbs are on now. That shows, so the little toggle switch here, it can go in the down position or it can go in the up position. You want in the up position. The down position for this coil is for experimenting, which I do not encourage you to do under these circumstances, but you can plug in an audio source, and very faintly you can hear music or whatever audio you're feeding through this coil coming out this wire. I don't know if you can see the spark here or not. But anyway, that's a whole different program that has nothing to do with the wishing machine itself. So you have placed your intention, and I put the arrow and input intention here, the output stick plate here with an arrow over this, and then of course the output there. All these should start out in the far left position. While this is on, do not touch the wire, do not touch the coil. It will get hot. This has got its electrical current. As you see, when I pull this away, those light bulbs go off. When I push it and I make sure and it's in the right place, they're going to come on. So if I'm not putting this in the right spot around here, those bulbs are not going to come on. So that's to indicate that I have got my coil in the right position with the wishing machine. As I've stated before, this coil is not something I'd leave on 24/7. I probably would not leave it on when I am unattended. I'm not at home. I'm not where I can keep an eye on this. I certainly would not leave this on in a enclosed space, like a closet or a drawer. I'd want it in wider open spaces. Most throughout the history, the 100 years history of people using these wishing machines, they did not use this coil along with it. So this machine will work and do its thing without the coil. This serves simply as, if you will, an amplification tool to take your intention and to push it out further and faster into the universe. And so it does beef it up, so to speak. But you do not need to leave it on all the time. What I encourage people to do is that if you are, if it's at home, wherever you're keeping this, and you've got some time and you want to sit and it's like, okay, I want to think about my intention. I've had this for a few days. I don't feel like I'm getting results. Or you just want to kind of move it along. And you're at home and it's like, I'm going to just sit back and I want to maybe have a cup of tea or whatever. And while I'm with it and I'm thinking about my intention, I'm going to boost that out. And so you can do this like if you've got a home office or whatever, you can do the same thing. You could say, I'm going to be working at my desk. I'm going to be on the computer for a while. You don't want this next to your laptop or your iPad or anything like that. But you could have it in the room with you, somewhat nearby. And you could say, okay, I've got to write some emails or something, so I'm going to have this sitting over here in the room with me, and I'm going to turn this on so that while I'm here, this is all working together. I'm near the wishing machine, and I want to, kind of ramp things up a little bit. It's kind of like getting a prayer group together, except you're using this tool to enhance all of that. So that very briefly explains what this is all about. Before, when I did the video, I did not have these labels on here. I did not have all this set up like this. So this one's about to go out, and there you go. You see, if I put this in the wrong position around the wishing machine, those bulbs are not going to light up. But once I get it where it should go, to work where your input intention is, then those bulbs will light up and you know that you're good to go, that you are amplifying that out. Again, I don't know if you can see it in the camera or not, but you'll see the tip of the wire, a little spark. That's what's sending the energy out. That's what's getting the electricity to those bulbs. As you'll see, there's no wire connected to those bulbs at all. The energy is coming out from that coil and lighting that up. The same with the bulb that's flashing over here is connected to nothing. It's simply showing that this coil is doing its job. It's sending energy out, wirelessly energy out to the universe. So it's doing its job. So that's what I want to go over in this second video about your Wishmaker machine. You'll get one instruction manual and then detailed information about your life path number. The purpose of this is simply, the more you know about yourself, the better you can design your intentions, better you can work with fulfilling your life's desires. We all need as much information about ourselves. We're going to live with ourselves till we die, right? So the more we know and understand ourselves, the better we're going to get through life. And this will maybe help you understand a lot of things that maybe you just weren't quite aware of about yourself. So I hope you enjoy it. Always look for feedback for these. And thank you for getting your wishing machine. And best wishes to you.